How was your day on Monday? Did you have a good one? Were you looking forward to it? Did you achieve what you wanted? Did you get to inbox 0, that almighty goal that we all maybe shoot for? The question I want to hint at today and visualize in your head is I actually want to set up a scene for you. Now, without completely giving it away, I'm going to go into the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is the new Ghostbusters that just came out. And I am a huge Ghostbusters fan, and so is my son. So we're going to go into a particular moment in this movie, and I'm going to try to describe it without giving too much of away. But if you haven't seen it yet, stop, go watch it, and then come back to this episode, because there'll probably be a spoiler, because there's no good way to explain this without giving a portion of away that's going to make the meaning of the movie a little bit less impactful as you're watching it. There is a scene in this movie where Spangler has to try to protect the world from the demons in hell. Now, there is a cave that is essentially the gateway portal to this hell. Now, Spangler sets up essentially proton packs anchored on the wall, pointing at this essentially pit. Now, imagine a PKE meter, which is that device with the two little rabbit ears on it, set to detect every time hell is trying to escape from this pit. Now, imagine every time that hell tries to escape from that pit, the PKE meter goes off, triggers a set of events that triggers the proton packs to perfectly fire into a essentially crossing the streams moment into the middle of this pit, shooting a beam of energy down into the pit, keeping that hell at bay. Now, imagine that PKE meter isn't just detecting hell and its Ghostbusters, but that PKE meter is essentially detecting whatever it is you're holding back, whatever it is that you're trying to swallow down. Have you ever had those feelings that were in the pit of your stomach and they were kind of rising up and these emotions just kind of grew through you? I've had those, and I'm probably sure that you've had those. The question is, what do you do when they start rising up? Do you become this monster, this angry guy that yells and shouts? Do you keep your cool? Or do you have that PKE meter that triggers it and you have this massive force firing down in that hell to push it back down? Now, when I'm at the gym, I'm often wondering, what are people pushing back down? Because sometimes people go to the gym for that physical activity, because that physical activity is like this muscle or this tool, and it's that tool that allows us to keep that energy at bay, or perceptually keep that energy at bay. So the question, now that I've set that whole visualization up for you, is think about your life. Think about what is in your hell that keeps rising up, but you keep firing the proton packs in it, crossing the streams, firing it back down. And essentially, also, in this movie, it causes the entire town to shake every time this goes off. Now, extrapolate that to your life. Imagine whatever it is from your hell that you haven't walked through. And imagine every time that starts to rise up, that the whole town starts to shake. Like I said, either through maybe your kids start to get frightened because you become this person that you don't recognize. Or maybe your behavior gets changed in a way that you're no longer someone that you like. What happens when your PKE meter goes off? Now, in this movie, the PKE meter is essentially trying to keep this energy at bay, but eventually breaks out and the energy comes up and they have to fight it. Now, the good guys do win, but it takes a lot of fight, takes a lot of courage, takes a team. But within this idea is something that I want you to process. I want you to think about, because that PKE meter in your life is often your anxiety. Your anxiety goes off when you're trying to control something, when there's something either externally or internally that you just don't have control over and it's trying to rise up. That rising up of that anxiety is your PKE meter. Connect your anxiety to those feelings. Ask, what is coming up from my pit of hell that I'm using proton packs firing in there, firing down in there to keep them at bay? And if you have seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, hopefully this entire episode just kind of put this whole scene into a new light to see how different moments in your life could be applied, and you get different wisdom from something that is a really good, really good movie and a really good scene, but also a really good example of what we often do in life as men. That is all I have for you guys today. We'll be back again to do it all over again tomorrow.